Hello, I'm Dead Palette, and allow me to explain what it is you're seeing and what it is you're about to watch. Essentially, you're going to hear a podcast type thing like I normally do, where we analyze a creepy story from the internet. Here's just a bit of footage I took while walking to me and my friend's spot to watch the Pride Parade. Firstly, the audio was wonky for this video for about the first 20 seconds, but it gets better. Still not the greatest, but hey, that's life. Secondly, if you didn't attend a Pride Parade near you this year, do it next year for yourself and to show support. Chelsea, our friend Caitlin, and myself attended the Columbus, Ohio Pride Parade. Frankly, it didn't need our support. It's an urban area and people are very accepting around here, but showing up to a smaller Pride Parade is really appreciated. The only activism I've really done in my life is for LGBTQ acceptance. Not just gay rights. Acceptance is really what's important to me. And a body in the streets peacefully watching shows acceptance. But enough of my virtue signaling. In this video, we analyze a creepypasta we thought had something to do with homosexuality. I was wrong, as we later found out. It was just a completely heteronormative, scary story. We kinda got babadooked. Womp womp. We also riff on the footage, so without further ado... Alright, so this is our Pride footage. There's a lot of rainbow flaggies.
Yeah, lots of rainbow flags and rainbows.
A lot of homosexual activity.
Which we were very much a part of.
So we got the stories to read. I'm going to turn down the volume a little bit. Yeah, we're good.
Is that good?
I think we're good. There is a man behind you. So I googled LGBT and LGBTQ creepypasta, and then found nothing because Google sucks. And then I tried Bing, the far superior platform.
Yeah.
And this came up.
Turns out this is an advertisement for Bing.
Everything I do is an advertisement for Bing. My existence is an advertisement for Bing.
Okay.
This guy's vaping his cigarettes.
It's having fun, vaping.
Old-fashioned vaping.
Old-fashioned vaping, yeah.
So we're watching the footage that we took, and then also reading creepypasta at the same time.
Right.
Reading There Is a Man Behind You. I don't know if this is LGBTQ related, but I was told by Bing that it was, and I trust Bing. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to read this and see how gay it gets.
Alright.
Unfortunately, I don't think that there's a whole lot of realistic horror that tackles LGBTQ issues, or not enough. At least in a realistic manner. So let's see what this story is up to.
Alright.
My name is Robert Crandall, and I play a marginal part in the following story. I'm attempting to post this site first on this site for scary stories on behalf of the author, my friend, Jonathan Talley. John is currently serving a prison sentence for manslaughter, so there's prison gay sex.
Forced homosexuality.
Forced homosexuality. Thing Hitler was trying to stop.
Or promote. Who's to say?
Who's to say? You don't see anything wrong with this imagery. Aren't you Jewish? Who's to say?
Who's to say?
His mental state has deteriorated considerably, as you'll see. I'm not a superstitious person, so I have no trouble seeing it as the hallucinations of a mentally disturbed individual. If you are superstitious, I recommend not reading this.
Okay. Alright.
Not much to make of heads or tails of yet, but that's a thing that'll happen.
I do kind of like that warning, though, of if you're superstitious, don't read this. Because it's like, what do you mean by that? What kind of superstition are you talking about? Like ladders, black cats?
Very superstitious.
Or, like...
Ridings on the float. As you can see, the parade is taking its sweet time getting started.
Yeah.
The organizers had their work cut out.
They had a doozy of a day.
Yes, it was a long parade. This isn't even the entire parade. This is maybe like half of it. like a little less than half of it.
It was a very long parade. It was a lot of fun, though. You got a lot of chips.
I remember my first Pride Parade.
I remember my first Pride Parade.
When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see the gay men sweat. He said, son, when you grow up, you better be a homosexual or
in the
a woman
band.
or a woman. Anyway.
Anywho. So here it is, reproduced word for word from John's letters he wrote while in solitary confinement. He has pleaded repeatedly, almost desperately, to post it on some internet site where it will be read. As of last week, he has been threatening to kill himself if he is not able to see it published on the web. For the record, I did not do what John accuses me of. I did not do it, Mark. Did not do what John accuses me of at the beginning of the story. To John, you will see this soon, and I hope it brings you some measure of relief.
Okay, that's an interesting crux for, like, a preamble to the story, because the actual story is starting now.
Yeah.
Below these little asterisks. Alright.
Alright.
So there's a little bit of he said, she said here.
Right.
Like they're sowing the unreliable narrator pretty early.
Right.
It's like, I didn't suck your cock.
John, I didn't fuck your brother.
And
or sister.
I should tell you now, dear reader, I'm writing this story from prison. Solitary confinement. I've been in solitary confinement for a few days now, and it is for the best. I only hope that this reaches as many people as possible. These are the events that happened to me leading up to the murder and my incarceration.
Incarceration.
Whether you believe me or not is your business, but it is the truth. Yes, it is the truth, whether you believe me or not.
Right.
Whichever one happens is what happens.
Right.
Really not too much to say here. Solitary confinement sucks, but he seems to be happy with solitary confinement.
That doesn't make sense to me, because solitary confinement is very, very bad for your mental health.
Well, maybe there's something that is convincing him that he is more safe in solitary confinement than he would be out.
Yeah, that could be it. This is New York City.
There are some Deadpools.
Oh, there's some Deadpools.
A little bit of self-cest.
Yeah.
And then there's the Blix that we went to afterwards to get our goddamn sketchbooks.
Oh my god, I cannot wait to start drawing in mine.
Chelsea, that has already happened. You're already drawing. What do you mean? This is happening right now. Oh, that was a cool bus.
Did you miss that bus?
No, I saw it. See,
right
look,
now?
It's right there. The Ruby Girls thing.
Yep.
I don't know what they were advertising. I think they were
They were advertising Ruby Girls.
I think they were just advertising their hips. Rick Neal, political guy.
Political person. Attack helicopter.
Yes.
Oh, look at that dog. Good dog.
Pupper.
Good dog.
Is that Rick Nelson? Is the dog running for Congress?
If the dog is Rick Nelson, I will be voting for him because he looks like a fluffy good boy.
What is your political alignment? Dog party.
Give me dog treats.
Good boy party.
Yes.
Party of good boys.
Yes.
Your turn.
Alright. This is New York City. I'm getting back home late at night after a fine evening of friends and drinking. It starts to rain really heavily, but luckily I've just made it to the subway station. So I go down into the subway, I get into the car, it's empty. One stop later, one person gets on and sits in the middle of the car, on my side. A young guy, early 20s. He is sitting with a strangely straight posture. Staring at nothing, head slightly tilted. A kind of wild look in his hair and eyes. I expected that to be flipped. Kind of wild look in his eyes and hair.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to save space, but you don't have ink to write what you mean to write.
Like he hasn't slept in a long time. I put my earbuds in to listen to music on my phone. Led Zeppelin. Nice.
Okay.
Also, look, it's the people with the bloodborne tentacle.
Yes.
Rainbow bloodborne tentacles.
Rainbow Abretus boys.
Yes.
2 or 3 stops later, I happened to glance up and notice strangely that the distance between this guy and myself seemed to have lessened. He's still sitting in the same way, back completely straight, head tilted, eyes wide, and staring at nothing. This is weird, but maybe I just misjudged the distance before. I turn back to my phone. 1 stop later, I look up, and there he is 3 seats away from me. Okay, now it's getting creepy.
Look at that
good dog!
Look at that happy pupper.
Happy pupper.
Happy pupper. And spilt drink.
And I know this guy was getting closer to me for some reason. Yeah, there's a spilled thing of cranberry Red Bull because there were the Red Bull thoughts.
Love them Red Bull thoughts. They give out free Red Bull. I don't know if other Pride parades have Red Bull thoughts, but ours do.
Red Bull thoughts are everywhere. Anytime there's like outside activity, they're there giving out.
They just come out of the ground like gnomes.
Yes.
Like pretty gnomes.
Like hot-toned, pretty Stacy's and Becky's. And they come out and they hand out the free Red Bull.
And they give out little pamphlets that tell you what kind of Red Bull you have.
And tell you, they're...
And then they just vanish into the wild.
Unless you can find them again to get double Red Bull.
Right.
Double Red Bull Jeopardy.
Yes.
You put the Red Bull in your bag, and then they will give you another Red Bull if they don't recognize you.
Yep.
They don't give a shit.
They're really bad at recognizing people too, so it's pretty great.
It's not their Red Bull, so it's just
I love their little Red Bull backpacks too.
Yeah, they have like little big old Red Bull
backpacks.
There's Leland.
There's what?
Leland? Well, Leland's for state representative. He loves his vapor trails.
He loves his vapor trails.
He loves his chemtrails.
Alright. What the hell, I say? Look, dude, there's plenty of seats on the train. I don't want any trouble. He turns to look at me briefly. There's a wildness in his eyes, but he turns back, facing forward. I'm watching this guy closely now. Suddenly, I notice that his clothes are completely dry. He got on 3 stops after me, after it had started raining. Yet he had no umbrella and was completely dry. I could only conclude that he had not come from above, he had come from down the subway tunnels the whole time. At first I'm thinking he may be homeless, but his jacket looks too new, and he isn't dirty. Oh well, it's New York. Sometimes there are weirdos on the train. He's kind of thin and pale, and I'm confident I could take him in a fight. But man, I don't want this shit tonight, and I'm still a little dizzy from the booze. So, I guess they're not actually on the subway yet. They're sitting and waiting for the subway? I live in Ohio, so I don't know what subways are like.
They have terrible smelling sandwiches and are endorsed by pedophiles.
You got me on that one.
I love that clickhole thing of the man has to flip over the 72 pictures of Jared Fogle in his house.
And then he just slowly goes through and
turns over every picture. Oh, she giving you slap bands.
Mm-hmm.
Be yourself. Slap them bands.
Yep, slap them. Oh, look, me. Saw a little bit of me in my beautiful makeup.
And your
my tits.
Beautiful tits.
I love my boobs.
I love your boobs, too. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this narrator. It's kind of going back and forth between a realistic narrator and... I don't know, maybe the narrator seems to be full of shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the author meaning that, or if it's unintentional. It's kind of hard to tell.
At this stage, yeah, it's kind of hard to tell.
But the inconsistency of the story, the reason we're listening is interesting, I think, so far.
Right.
Suddenly I hear a loud gasp. The guy turns and stares at me with a horrified look on his face. What? I shout. Part of me is getting pissed off at this asshole, yet I feel a shiver down my spine. His face is locked in a tableau of fear, like the exact instant when something terrifying surprises you. This guy is not acting. He's afraid. Seconds go by, feeling like hours. The guy's face is still completely frozen in fear, and by now I'm sure he has some kind of mental issue. And then he whispers something hurriedly.
This imbined do.
This
imbined do?
This imbined do. Okay. What? I said again.
This imbined do. This imbined do. This imbined you.
His whispering is fast and insistent, but I still can't make out what he's saying. Speak slower.
He gets slightly closer and leans in, still looking afraid. This imbind you. This men bind you. This a man bind you.
Huh, okay, so there's something weird and supernatural about this guy. Oh, what is this chick giving out? What are they giving out?
Huh?
What's in the buckets?
I forget.
What's in the buckets?
I forget what was in the buckets.
I gotta know what's in the buckets. Is it gay stuff?
Probably.
Are those condom buckets?
No, those were not the condom buckets. Did you get video of the condom buckets?
I don't know. I definitely got video of condoms.
Yeah, but there were 2 rounds of condom buckets from 2 different places.
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
Wanna play hockey with me?
Want to play bear hockey?
I can never do a gay accent.
No, you're pretty bad at it.
I can only ever do just like nerd. Effeminate nerd is the best I got for a gay accent. Wanna come play hockey with us?
And like that doesn't really hit it. That's more limoncello than anything else.
Limoncello. He gets closer and leans in, still looking afraid. This binds you. This man binds you. This a man binds you.
Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm shouting now.
He grabs me by the shoulders and my body shakes from the adrenaline rush.
There is a man behind you, the guy whispers in my ear and lets go, leaning back. His face is still wild, but now it's different, like he's no longer scared for himself, he's scared for me.
Okay, so... yeah, I don't know what to make of this so far. I'm intrigued. I think I would keep reading this if it was just a random thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'd keep reading it too, but so far it's like... it's kind of weird, but like the way this is happening kind of reminds me of this one time when I was on a bus with one of my friends after Red, White, and Boom. And there was just like this kind of crazy-eyed...
which is a 4th of July thing.
Yeah, it's a 4th of July celebration. It's a lot of fun. Usually shit like this doesn't happen at it, but like this was one year where something... like usually it's like, oh, hey, I got onto the bus and it's like the Women's Choir of Columbus singing Sailor Moon songs. Like that's typically the kind of stuff that happens, but this one year... me and my friend hop on the bus to get back to our car.
That baby did not look happy.
Oh, that was an unhappy baby.
This
is when I got all the pens.
Giving out the honey. She just had a fucking...
pocket full of pens.
She was being a fucking swag hag the entire time.
I was, like, no shame.
No, no shame.
No shame.
Man, I don't know if you guys bank at Huntington, but they love giving you free pens. They are huge fans of it. Pens and apparently at Pride Parade's beads.
Oh man, Pride Parade loves beads. Anyway, should I finish my story?
Yes.
Okay. So, like, we get on the bus, and this guy who is really drunk, wild-eyed, just, like, comes up and starts hitting on us super hard. Like, and it's super creepy the way he's hitting on us, but it's very clear that he's incredibly drunk, and you can just smell the booze off of him. So I turned to my friend, and I'm just like, sorry, sir, we're lesbians. He was just like... and then, like, he looks at us, and, like, my hand is around my friend's shoulders, and he's just like, oh, shit, you guys are lesbians. I'm sorry for infringing on your girl. And he just went back to sit down.
Popsicles!
Ah, popsicle girls.
And then Chelsea doesn't get a popsicle.
Oh, I got one. See? And then I gave it to Caitlin.
Alright, so where were we?
I think we were on I Can't Help It. The incident is so weird, so creepy. I turn and look over my shoulder. Of course, there's nothing there.
And then I turn back, seeing nothing. The guy is gone, completely. There is no one on the subway car but me. I am utterly alone. Somehow, in the time I looked back, The guy must have ran into
See,
the...
pocket full of pens.
Pocket full of pens. Must have ran into the next car. I hurry over and look, but all I see are two elderly ladies who give me a weird look. Shivering, I sit down to think.
Oh, I just got that prism.
Yeah, good job.
That took me way too long.
Took you from the time that the Pride Parade happened to us recording.
I was just like, I don't understand what this word is.
You can see it on your face, but you're just like, what the fuck is this?
It was like chocolate candies, by the way. But I was just trying to figure out, like, why, what are these chemicals on here doing? Like, what?
They make your penis gayer. Oh, dude, that little kid just like threw a thing of candy and hit someone behind us in the face with candy.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Anyway, where were we?
Now, dear reader.
Now, dear reader.
Wizards.
Wizards.
Wizard people.
I am a logical man. I am not religious. I really need to... I am
a skeptic, TM.
I really need to see something to believe it. I don't believe the Earth is round because I haven't been to space.
No, yes.
I don't believe in the supernatural. In fact, I'm sure most supernatural incidents have perfectly logical explanations based in reality, even if they have not yet been discovered. The problem is, most people want to believe, and so they do. There is only one logical explanation for this vanishing, wild-eyed person. Someone spiked my drink. It was a hallucination. Had to be. As soon as I get off the subway and above ground, I call my friend Rob on the phone. He was at the bar with me, and he's been known to be a joker. I wouldn't have put it past him to slip something to me.
Okay, so that's what Rob is denying at the beginning of the story, is the slipping of the hallucinogen.
Right.
And so now the story is kind of becoming, do we trust Rob in saying that, is there some sort of ulterior motive where he would want, oh, it's fucking Brutus, and he's like so fucking high,
oh my
god, woo, woo!
O-H!
Oh!
O-H!
Oh, look at him, he's so happy. Oh, he's so bucking happy.
By the way, guys, if you live in other states and you see people clearly from Ohio, just shout OH at them. They will finish it. It's like a statewide thing. In order to graduate from high school, you have to graduate from OHIO shouting class.
Yes. It's on our state mandated test.
Yes.
On our standardized test. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah, the question becomes, is Rob trustworthy? Is there some sort of ulterior motive that he has?
There's no proof either way, whether or not Rob is trustworthy or whether or not our narrator is trustworthy.
Yes.
On this issue. Honestly, anybody could have spiked the strength.
Yes.
I mean...
The issue that I'm having with this so far is that every time someone is a skeptical person or an atheist or something, they like talking about it too much in their story.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need a whole lot of explanation. You can just be like, normally I'm skeptical about these kinds of things, but they always gotta be, you see, I am a logical person. I own many fedoras. And just go on and on about it.
Yeah.
And it kind of frustrates me.
I mean, he didn't go on and on about it for too long, though.
Enough to where...
Maybe, like, the sentence too long.
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3.
Dude, Rob, what the fuck? I said as he answered. Rob pretends like he had no idea what was going on. You give me acid? You give me acid? Some acid shit? I was fucking hallucinating all the way back home.
John, man, I really have no idea what you're talking about, I swear.
I don't know why that's the first thing that he jumps to, is that he was slipped a hallucinogen. I mean, maybe, I'm trying to think. Would that be the logical thing to think?
I mean, like, you wouldn't...
Is that where your mind would go?
My mind would go, I'm too fucking tired for this. But we also went to art school, and I stayed up for 3 days in a row one time, and started having hallucinations from that. So I do have, like, that...
Yeah.
foreknowledge of what can cause hallucinations.
Yeah.
Although I have no knowledge about acid.
Why would he assume John as well? Like, couldn't have anyone slipped him a thing and... Woo!
Yeah, like, why would you assume your friend first?
It's smoky time.
Ooh. Ooh, color parade!
Finally, I considered the possibility that he's telling the truth. Yeah, why wouldn't...
Yeah.
There were other people at the bar tonight. Okay, good. Fine, man, but if I find out you're fucking with me, I'm going to kill you. And I hung up. I called everyone I knew who had been at the bar that evening. Finally, I called Dave. Of course. Same old deny.
You know, the thing is...
Did we mention who Dave is?
Like, well, no, not yet, but like, if your friend slipped you a fucking drug, of course they're not going to admit it to you to your face if they're, like, smart. They're going to deny it.
But why were they slipping them the drug in the first place?
I don't know.
Well, we know that the story involves something gay at some point. Probably. Was he trying to gay him?
Or rape?
Gay rape him?
I think that's just called rape.
Do they have a special word for that? No, it's still just rape.
Still just rape.
Your turn.
Alright. Are you sure, dude? I trust you. But I don't trust everyone else. What was her name? What about what's her name? Jesse's girlfriend. She was there by herself, which was weird. Maybe they just broke up and she was looking to date rape some guy like me by slipping LSD into their drink.
Okay.
But
confirming our theory.
Yeah.
That might be where this is going.
Yeah.
No luck. No one poisoned my drink, and there was no reason to suspect anyone did. Yeah, what explanation was there for a disappearing crazy guy? Explanations.
Falling asleep on the subway.
Yeah, falling asleep.
Staying up too many days in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drinking too much.
Drinking too much.
Can cause you to black out. Maybe he blacked out while the guy was leaving.
Depends on how much you're drinking too, because if you drink enough, that will hinder the way that you sleep, and you won't go into the proper REM sleep, and then your body will be deprived of that, and you will start dreaming while awake.
Right.
Got that hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
Not to be confused with lube. I'm sure a lot of people had stingy butt sex that night by accident.
I mean, if you look at it, it very clearly says Bath and Body Works, who do not sell lube.
You don't know that. They need to branch out. Yeah, we got more lube. Okay.
That wasn't lube. That was hand sanitizer, and we're gonna put it up your butt. Alright. For the next few days, I didn't think anything of it. Life slowly got back to normal. I really didn't think anything of the creepy incident on the train. I hung out with friends, went to work, drank at some bars. I was even able to take the subway without remembering what happened just a few days prior.
And then, the weird stuff started happening. Just a light brush against my body here, a soft whisper there, an occasional breath. I would hope you'd be taking breaths constantly. It felt like there was someone behind me, but whenever I turned to look, there was no one there. Each time it happened, I was reminded of the subwayman's declaration. There is a man behind you. So this is definitely supernatural, quite obviously, that there's something supernatural going on.
I don't know, it still could just be like, he's crazy.
Yeah,
he is having a mental break from reality.
Can't be both?
It could be both.
I think that, regardless of whether that's... whether it's drugs or... whether it's materialist or metaphysical, it's... The explanation of it is a supernatural thing could also be true. Yeah. I don't know what I'm fucking saying.
A few days later, I'm walking home after buying some cigarettes. I not only feel a breath, but hear it directly behind me, like someone's face is only a few inches away from my neck. My arms jerk backwards, expecting to push away some horrible creeper, but I find only thin air. I whirl around to face an empty street. Terrified, I run straight home and get right to bed, too scared to think about showering or brushing my teeth. Gross. Thankfully, the feeling is gone. I'm lying face up, and the mattress feels soft and safe against my back. I don't dare turn on my side or back for fear that the man will come back, hovering over me like some ghastly evil apparition you always see in horror movies.
And then the ghost jumped off the table and whispered something gay in my ear. I'm gay.
Was he wearing a green suit?
Yes. He was Tingle from Super Mario Donkey Kong Adventures. For a few weeks after, nothing happened, and I started to feel better. Annoyingly, I became the butt of some jokes, people thinking I'm doing acid again. So he's done acid in the past?
Apparently.
Dude, like, it was the acid then. Like, you can have flashbacks. Like, what the...
Yeah, it can really fuck with, like, your perception of reality if you do too much.
Not even once. Except gay sex. Gay sex many times.
Over and over again. It's great.
I keep telling people I don't do that shit anymore. I took that stuff years and years ago, but only a couple of times, and there's no way it's a fucking flashback. People ask me that so many times, and it pisses me off. That's like people saying, hey, you seem actually legitimately suicidal. Have you ever thought about getting help? It's like, God,
I am not depressed.
People keep telling me that. It's like, well, maybe there's a reason for that.
If it quacks like a duck and is shaped like a duck and rapes like a duck,
might be a duck. No one came forward saying they drugged my drink. Yeah, why would they? So I assumed, dude, you would be in so much trouble if you came forward saying that.
Right.
So I assumed it was some desperate, lonely girl in the bar, hoping I'd become woozy, and she'd be able to swoop in and save me. Bitch.
Why would he assume that it was a girl that did this?
I have no idea.
I mean, yes, women can drug other people, but like...
Yeah, I don't...
I feel like my instant assumption would be like...
Ain't you ever heard of Jeffrey Dahmer?
Right. Like, my first assumption would be like, oh god, Jeffrey Dahmer. Someone's coming for my skull.
Someone's coming for my skull to put battery acid in it to make a sex zombie.
Yeah. But then I began getting this weird feeling that someone was watching me. It always feels like somebody's watching me.
There's a guy on the Segway.
Oh. Behind me, just staring at me. A man behind me. I'd be walking down the street and swear that the man was following me, only to turn back and see nothing. The worst of these incidents was in a restaurant with my date, Julie. Immediately after sitting down.
Do the thing, Julie.
Immediately
right
after...
here in the restaurant? Are we going to have another incident?
I guess so. Where was I? Immediately after sitting down, I get that feeling again. I sense him sitting at the table behind me and feel his eyes burning holes in the back of my head. The man is here in the restaurant watching me with that cold, obsessive stare. That terrifying expression, half grin, half a growl. He has bloodshot eyes, wide open and staring, and crazy, untamed white hair. He's wearing a disheveled.
Oh my god, Chelsea.
Disheveled vintage wool coat. Don't ask me how I know this. For some reason, I just do. Julie starts complaining about how I keep turning backwards, and she wonders aloud why she isn't entertaining enough to keep my attention. Finally, I whisper to her, There's someone watching me, some man behind me that's staring. Do you see him? And she frowns at me and looks over my shoulder behind me. Looks directly into what I am sure is the man's face, that horrible face. I nearly expect her to scream out in terror. Instead, I don't see anything. She looks at me strangely. She thinks I'm crazy, and maybe I am, but I know the man is there. After this night, Julie never called me or sent me another text. Bitch.
Man, this
guy is just... he's making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, is that you get these... Like, I don't know whether that's intentional or not. Like, is this narrator a misogynist? or is the author a misogynist?
Right.
It's kind of hard to tell in this scenario.
Right.
But anyway, we missed it, but that one, like, lifesaver condom truck was fucking bumping.
Yeah.
Was that the one that gave us, like, the bunch of condoms?
Yeah. They were the ones handing out the packets of condoms.
They were handing out packets of not giving out individual condoms to everyone.
Right.
No. This person gets a bunch of condoms, no one. This person gets a bunch of condoms.
And the other condom truck was just tossing them out like candy.
But that was the best one because they had some neat condoms.
They did. They were very fascinating. Not as great as the Monster condoms.
Yeah.
From years and years ago, Monster. If someone from Monster ever listens to this for some bizarre reason, suggest to your boss that you start making those condoms again.
Yeah, because we never got to use the Monster condoms.
I was too young to grab those.
But man, we want the Monster condoms.
Yeah.
It seems like they're discontinued, sadly.
Unfortunately.
But you can Google images of Monster-flavored condoms.
Yeah.
Sorry, I dropped this Monster-flavored condom for my Monster dong.
No, for my energy drink dong.
For my taurine-infused dong. Up to this point, I had thankfully never encountered... But man, that truck was bumping. They were having a great old time.
Oh, they were enjoying it.
I never encountered the man inside my apartment. It had always been on the street or in some public place. I began to avoid leaving my apartment, and this gave me some small measure of respite. R-E-S-P-I-T-E.
That is what it means to me.
I took off from work and went for days without leaving my apartment. In those blissful days, I never felt the man's presence.
Oh, look, it's that car.
It's that car.
In Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio, we have, 4 of these cars that are just covered in, dolls and, glittery shit.
The most kitschy fucking cars.
They are very kitschy. I love it.
I began telling everyone that I was sick as an excuse to stay in my apartment. People asked to stop by. I obliged, but pretended I had a cough and a runny nose.
This is kind of reminding me of, House of Leaves. Because one of the main stories is about this guy who, refuses to leave his apartment for a while.
Yeah, I think...
I mean, it's kind of like a knockoff version of House of Leaves, almost.
Well, all of the cool stuff, from what I understand about House of Leaves, is not present here.
Oh, no, it's not.
But
there are just some, threads of it that kind of remind me.
I would wish that they would make... the paranoia I understand, and, the feeling of, when I stay inside my house, I can escape this. But I would like... He seems to be giving weird selective details, where do you work? I think it's something that would be important. Maybe?
Yeah, what job do you work that would be okay with you taking off for so long?
Yeah. These are just questions I have. The same... Oh, we're going to look at the... Yeah, big old packet of condoms.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to... Okay, I guess I didn't point at them anymore. Anyway, dear reader... Oh, nope. No. Yeah. Yeah, this is just me being in disbelief of, are you supposed to hand those out? And you're just no, I think these are for us.
Right. We get the whole packet.
Okay.
Oh, look, I got some more swag.
What'd you get? Show us, Chelsea.
It's a nail file.
And
for my non-existent nails.
Well, the reason they hand that out is for lesbians.
Yeah, which is why I took it.
Yeah, to keep them... So you can... Yeah, there's our friend Caitlin.
Yeah, gave her a flag.
Okay.
Alright.
Dear reader.
Dear reader, everyone has a weakness. Some trait that becomes his or her undoing. The one thing that friends and foes alike know and can use to their advantage. For me, this weakness is beautiful women. Hot chicks. I'm smitten. Always. I'm not terribly ugly. I have good hygiene. I disagree. You already said you did not brush your teeth that one night. You messed up your hygiene record. I have good hygiene and a decent paying job, and I try not to be an asshole. There have already been 2 times where he calls somebody a bitch,
And it wasn't just that he called him a bench. A bench. It's that's right, bitch. I'm gonna sit on you. You're gonna be my bench. It's not just that
it's like
he said it in a certain way, in a certain context,
right.
where it's making it clear that he's, like, always a dick to women.
Right, and then he's, like, accusing his friends of, like, drugging him.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand being paranoid, but,
well,
like...
not even just his friends, he's accusing, like, random women.
Right.
Like, assuming, like, honestly, the assumption would be that if you are a male, and you have been slipped a Mickey, it was probably a dude that did it.
Yeah, a dude that accidentally got you instead of the girl next to you.
Yeah. Or you would be like, hey...
Oh man, that is my favorite thing I got from Pride, that little pinwheel. Anyway.
Like, women have so much power in bars to just be like, so you want your dick sucked? It's like, yeah. It's like, do you like me? No. Do you think I'm particularly attractive? No, I don't want my dick sucked.
Right.
Like, you have so much power, there's no need to drug people. Anyway.
Anywho.
Was it my turn?
No, I'm still reading.
Okay.
We got
try not to be an ass.
Yeah, try not to be an asshole, but yet in the story multiple times he's already, like, shown himself as an asshole. So I've done relatively well in the dating game. I do not believe you. Julie went on one date with
certain assholes will be successful at this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like there are a bunch of women out there with low self-esteem that will fall for this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't doubt them.
So I've done relatively well in the dating game. I don't know. Like, I feel like those women that fall for that, though, like... There are so many of them, and I think I could get those women easy if I was an asshole. Yeah, but would you consider that doing well, though? Like, getting someone?
He would.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
He would.
He's the kind of dick that would.
So, the kind of women that we bang are of a higher class, and there's slightly less of them, but we still get laid pretty regularly. Anyway.
Anywho. But I am currently single, and most of my friends know this. So my friend Jimmy sends me a text and a picture. Asshole, I won't forgive you for this. The text reads, dude, this hot girl wants to meet you.
Okay. So they're using that to coax him out of the apartment. I will say this. This is starting to make me think that this is written with intention.
Yeah,
That the guy is supposed to be an asshole, and that our author is not an asshole. It's just the narrator.
It's been shown, 3 times that he's an asshole, and then he's saying, like, I'm not an asshole? I feel like that's intentional.
Yeah. The picture, sure enough, is a smoking hot Italian chick.
I'm just imagining, like, a hot girl dressed up like Mario.
Yes. Just cosplaying Mario.
Yeah.
College age, my absolute fave. I text back, she wants to meet me, or she wants to fuck me.
Smiley face.
Smiley face.
Keep it in your pants, dude. She said meet. But maybe more, I don't know. I sent her your picture, and she seemed really into you.
Did she say meet, or did she say M-E-A-T?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So maybe she doesn't just want that dick. Okay, sounds good. Where should I meet her?
Come to my party! You're both invited. 7 p.m. tonight in my place. Tongue face.
Yeah, P. As it turns out, there is no fucking girl. Oh, he's getting catfished.
Oh, he's getting catfished.
Jimmy took the pic from a dating site and baited me into coming to his lame-ass house party in Queens. He tells me everyone has been asking why I've been so antisocial lately, but I'm too pissed off to care. I just want to go home. And as I have to turn to leave, that's when I feel it. It hits me like a brick. Oh, so familiar and yet still so terrifying. The man is here. The man is behind me, somewhere, staring.
You know, I just realized something.
What?
What if it's the Babadook?
Oh, look at that. Oh, the Chipadook.
Oh, we got laid!
Dude, so yeah, that's the thing, is they were fucking handing out so many goddamn
Like,
lays.
when we were walking to our location, we passed the Lay's truck, and they threw, like, a few bags at us. And then they just started, like, just hitting people with as many bags as possible. I loved it.
It's also worth noting that so here's, in years past, there wasn't a whole lot of big corporate sponsorship
right.
for Pride parades. The biggest thing was you would have political candidates fighting, and then you would also have
groups of people just getting together, making a float, like French is making a float and
friends
trying to be
stuff.
like as outrageous and beautiful as they can be.
And now I think that a lot of those like groups of friends have kind of been co-opted by smaller businesses to just like, hey, make the stuff for us.
That or they've just been pushed out because now it's just too expensive to bid for a float.
But the end result is that now that there's so much more acceptance than there used to be, especially in like a
Look at me rescuing that bag of chips heroically.
city area like this.
What a hero I am. And then I pass it up.
There are so many more like corporations that are willing to get behind Pride Parades.
Right.
And so like I think that we've hit a nice ratio of like freedom to do whatever we want, because in the past it was just like, here's my tits. This is what we're advertising. We're advertising my tits. And now it's like there are slightly less tits. Obviously, less tits in the parade, period.
I mean, like, there were, like, no tits out this year.
But chips. And honestly, I'll take chips over tits.
I mean, I will, too.
Because I can put the chips in my mouth. I can't put the tits in my mouth.
Yeah.
So...
it feels like a lot more tame now than it used to be.
Yeah,
it's tamed, like, a lot.
In a way, it's kind of nice, though.
Yeah, it makes it more of a family event.
Yeah, and as you can see, it's just like all types are coming out here.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
We have all of these rainbow Abritas babies.
It's not even Abritas that looks like that.
Anyway.
Anywho. But yeah, no, like, I feel like reading this story, I'm starting to more and more visualize the Babadook.
Yes.
As, like, the person haunting him. But, like, not just any version of the Babadook, the gay version of the Babadook.
Yes.
Let's see here. Were you at... What did you just read?
I turn and see.
Okay. I turn and I see him, or rather, I half saw him for an instant before someone passed in front of him. By the time the person moved, he was gone. But I swear I saw him, and I knew him instantly, even though I had never actually seen him before. Crazy white wild hair, a head that was slightly too large, and bloodshot red eyes, wide and insane. And his grin, an expression that could either be a grin or a growl, impossible to tell. He was of average height, probably as tall as me. Perfect for kissing.
Yes. I am genuinely curious whether Bing is steering me right or wrong in this, and if this story actually has something gay going on. Because nothing too gay has happened yet. All we can do is theorize and figure out ways to make this gay.
Yeah.
I can think of ways to make anything gay.
I mean, like, you can ship them pretty hard.
Jimmy has been insistent for several minutes that I tell him about my problems, completely oblivious to the horror on my face. Finally, I say to him, "Fine, Jimmy, the reason is I've been avoiding someone, and he is here, at your party."
Jimmy gives me this weird look and starts looking around confused. Dude, you know everybody here. Who are you talking about?
A man, a crazy white-haired man that just stares at me, with his horrible grin on his face. I think he is stalking me.
Jimmy laughs. Is it like some gay guy or something?
Okay, so that might be why it came up, just like triggered by that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That might have been why this hit it with bang.
Yeah, who knows? This pisses me off. No, Jimmy, it's not some gay guy. It might be the Babadook. I wouldn't care if it were some gay guy. In fact, I am very, very tolerant.
All of my friends are gay guys. Even the women.
Yes. In fact, I'd love it if it were... It didn't actually say that, by the way.
No.
In fact, I'd love it if it were just some gay guy. No, this guy is like some psycho killer, man. He just keeps... he just looks at me like he's hunting me. Like he knows I can't get away, and all I have to do is leave the house, and he'll find me.
Look at those giant shoes.
Oh my god, the shoes.
Oh my god, shoes.
DSW shoes.
Alright. Okay, Jimmy says, humoring me. Let's go find this psycho killer and at the very least kick him the fuck out of my party. He leads the way, room by room, noting every person we pass. I don't feel the man anywhere, but I'm sure he's still in the house somewhere. All of a sudden, I get the same overwhelming sense of dread. He's behind me, I'm sure of it. I turn around and I see a closed door.
Dude, what's in there? I whisper, pointing at the door.
That's a fucking closet, John, Jimmy answers. Ah, he's in the closet!
Ah! There he is. He's in there, rather. There we go. He's in there. I'm sure of it.
I look at Jimmy, and I can tell he knows I'm not messing with him.
I look at Jimmy. And he looks at me. And I look at Jimmy.
And he looks at me.
And then we embrace and we kiss passionately.
Smooch, smooch. Slurp, slurp. I'm genuinely terrified, and it's making him really uneasy. He asks the people in the room if they saw anyone go into the closet, and everyone answers either no or they weren't paying attention. Jimmy slowly creeps up to the door. As he gets closer, the rest of the party around me seems to fall away, as if there's nothing but me and Jimmy and the door, and the man. Jimmy gets within 5 steps, and I can't help it. I freak out. I know the man is behind the door and that he's coming for me. He seems almost gleeful, like he's been toying with me this whole time, but now he's ready to come for me, for real.
I turn and I run as fast as I can out of the house. I vaguely hear Jimmy screaming at me that there is no one there, that the closet is empty, but it doesn't matter. I know the man is there, and I know he's coming for me. My lungs are nearly bursting as I reach the subway entrance. I hop over the entrance rail and just barely make it into the train as the doors close a second behind me. I turn back, exhausted. The man has stopped. He is above the steps, at the subway entrance, standing just out of sight. But he knows, and more importantly, I know. I've escaped, for now at least. I sigh, letting the fear drain from my body in the form of urine.
I know that you know that I'm not telling the truth.
I know that you know that I know that we're gay.
There was only one person on the train with me. A big burly guy. Dark brown beard. No hair. No hair except the beard. Mid-30s. Probably had been to the gym every day since he was 15. Just on a whim, I went up to him and said, "Dude, there's a man behind you."
He looked at me and his face scrunched up. For a second I felt like I was going to get punched. Then he bellowed, "Fuck off, you crazy bastard."
I couldn't help but laugh at myself. Yeah, it sounded so stupid. I threw my hands up defensively. "Sorry, man, I'm just drunk. Don't beat me up." I didn't have a drop of liquor in me. Hadn't had a single drink since that other night on the train with the other guy, the night this whole fucking nightmare started.
When I got out of the train, a gust of cold wind blows past me as the train closes. My brain screams in terror. The man is here. Somehow he is here. And we both know that I'm alone. Now know that I'm alone. I bolt up the stairs and into the night. I don't dare look back behind me for fear of what I see, but I don't know what's happening. The man has given me a slight head start, but he knows.
But he is now
running, sprinting down the street at an unnaturally fast pace. He is going to catch me. I can feel it.
I have my keys in hand as I make it to my apartment building and jam the key into the lock. I sneak a glance back. The street is dark, but I can see the hazy outline of his shape as he runs towards me, his white hair flapping up and down with each step. I finally get the door open, hurry in, and slam the door behind me. Relief washes over me so quickly I almost black out. My heart is pumping a mile in a minute. I think that's wrong. A mile a minute. And I'm gasping like a madman. But I can't help but laugh. I feel safe. Looking out the window, I see him. Or I don't see him, but I know he's there. He is standing in the darkness, just slightly bent out of the range of the nearest street lamp. If I focus hard, I can barely see the outline of his white hair. Sounds like somebody's getting some, paranoia.
Yeah.
Some manic paranoia.
I love that the farmer's truck actually played the "We Are Farmers."
Bum ba dum bum 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 bum. And plus, wasn't that their horn?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
After this incident, I stopped pretending to be sick. I didn't go out, and when people asked why, I gave them no reason. I took some phone calls, but I did not let people into my apartment, even if they were visited even if they visited or knocked on my door. Other people came and went, so I couldn't prevent the man from getting into the building, but I sure as hell wasn't about to let him get into my apartment. If my friends insisted that I open up, I just got angry with them until they left.
Slowly but surely, the inevitable happened. I made it through everything in my fridge, then all the canned goods I had stocked up, then everything in the freezer. The last day before my hell really started, I had nothing but a bottle of whiskey. Whiskey is made from grain, right? It's like eating a loaf of bread. I downed half of it, didn't help. I was so hungry as all hell.
And now I'm going to turn one loaf of bread into whiskey. I can't help it. I crave. I ordered takeout, but after about half an hour, the Chinese delivery guy arrived, and I pressed the button to let him in the door. In less than a minute, I hear his footsteps. My stomach is grumbling. I got the grumblies that only hands can satisfy. In anticipation of getting some real actual food, as my doorbell rings, I stare out through the peephole.
It's an Asian kid, either late high school or early college age. As I open the door, he gets a look at me and gives a start. Suddenly I become self-conscious. I probably look like a mess. I haven't really been taking good care of myself. $10.30, he says.
I get the 10 and the $5 bill and thrust it into his hand and snatch my food. Thanks, I don't need change. I say, eager to just close the door.
Thanks, mister, says the kid, smiling, and I smile back briskly and start to close the door, but then, just before it closes completely, I notice it. His smile, his grin, his growl, the man, he's the man. I stare out the peephole, and my breath catches in my throat. There's no one there. I look down, I stare at my open hands. There is no food. Suddenly, my apartment is chilly.
I feel as though this would be more sensible if it was in a visual medium, especially film.
Right.
Because this doesn't make a whole lot of sense as
or like
is.
Animation.
Yeah, so like why would this little Asian kid be an old disheveled man?
Right.
You know, this like you can show that in a movie.
Right.
Like The Shining did that. There's a bunch.
Like Paranoia Agent.
Paranoia Agent did that. Paranoia Agent obviously being amazing. Rip Satoshi Kon. Pour one out for Satoshi Kon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mister. The man is not here, but something still feels terribly wrong. Like some protective barrier had been broken, and I'm now at the mercy of the man. Like the lighting had changed. The sunset colors outside my window seemed more pale and foreboding than usual. Cold and hungry, I locked both the locks on my front door and hurried into my bedroom. Under the covers, I sigh as I feel as a feeling of safety returns. I try to reassure myself. Even if the young delivery guy was the horrible man, he is still outside. So it's feeling as though this is a story about paranoia more than anything. This man is just mentally ill.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it feels like to me.
And this is certainly not the worst paranoia story I've ever read, but there are just like all these like weird nagging doubts that I have about it, where I'm not confident in the way that the story has turned out, you know?
I guess we'll see how it sticks the landing.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Is if it sticks the landing and really does something creative at the end, then I think that this would be above average. Right now it's kind of feeling slightly below average, not too bad.
Right. Not the worst. My sleep that evening is dreamless, but I still wake up with a start, drenched in cold sweat. It is now completely dark outside. I look at my clock. It's 4:17 a.m., and my bladder is completely full, like a tight water balloon that could burst at any moment. When I can't stand it any longer, I leap out of the covers and hurry into the bathroom. I start peeing, and it's the most glorious pee I've ever had in my entire life.
Glorious!
Right?
I won't begin. My bladder's empty.
I stand there for nearly a minute after I finish, sighing with relief. Finally, I wash my hands, deciding I'm going to go back to bed. Screw the fact that I haven't eaten anything today. I'm feeling slightly nauseous and realize it's because I'm hungover from the whiskey. As I leave the bathroom, I notice that there's a weird light in my apartment, and that's when I see it. My front door is fucking wide open. With a strangled yell, I rush over and slam it shut with a ferocity that surprises even me. It's no use, he's here. The man is here. He is behind me. I turn on the light, but the man is nowhere. He is behind me. No matter where I turn, he is always behind me.
How do you feel about that detail of, not detail, but plot point of the door is open now?
I mean, I feel like this guy is in the midst of, like, a complete and utter delusional state. He might
and the people around him are too dumb to realize.
Well, I mean, the people around him are just like, well, he clearly wants to be left alone, so I'm not fucking with him. It's completely possible that, like, he left his door open and didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I like it, though. I like the idea of, like, he opens up the door and, like, there's relief, and then he realizes that there's something else.
Right. Like, I really like him, like, peeing and just enjoying it, and then realizing the door is open.
Who doesn't love enjoying a good pee?
I know, right? Like, pees are great.
Finally, I catch my reflection in the mirror. I stare at myself. I can see the wild terror in my eyes and my heaving chest as I breathe, as breaths rush in and out. But I see behind me, and he is not there. Not there. For a moment, my mind can't resolve this conflict. I flip-flop between this overwhelming mental sensation that the man is behind me and the visual proof that the mirror, from the mirror, that he is. It is not. First, the mirror is true, then a lie. Then true, then a lie.
I feel like this really reminds me of, like, I don't know if you ever had this feeling of, like, going into the basement as a kid. And, like, coming back up the stairs with the lights off and feeling like there's something behind you and you have to get up those stairs right fucking now.
I love these guys. They're called the Flaggets.
Oh my god, the Flaggets are great.
They're always the best part of every single Pride Parade. They just do incredible work. Oh, look at them go. Oh, so fabulous. Anyway.
They're great.
I think it's your turn.
Oh, yep. The conflict is strangely comforting. I go right up to the mirror and look past my reflection into the room behind me. He's not anywhere in the room, and yet I know in my mind that he is there. That the man exists. If I can just make it to my bed, I know I'll be safe. I dash away from the mirror into my bedroom and crawl under the covers. The relief is short-lived. Even lying on my back, I know he's there. He's buried under the mattress, just underneath me, and I feel his arms coiling around my rib cage. Even though my head is against the pillow, I can feel his breath against the back of my neck.
Whoop.
Ooh.
Nice job. Nice job, guys.
I caught him.
Okay.
Alright, your turn.
I scream and jump out of my bed and into the corner of my room. The man stays buried in my mattress. Suddenly he sits up, staring at me with those same intense, angry eyes, and his mouth locked into a grinning scowl. He begins to speak. Are you going to stand there all night, or are you going to fuck me? He's got intense, angry fuck me eyes.
Right.
I can't look up. I'm too scared, but I know that my body is. But I know what he looks like and what he is doing. He cocks his head slightly and whispers,
No escape.
No escape.
No escape.
Spelled just like no escape. Dear reader, you may. I don't know how to feel about this whole dear reader thing.
Yeah.
Well, he's kind of like an asshole, so maybe it's just like. Isn't it like a dick thing if you keep writing dear reader?
Yeah, it kind of is.
Like, I really hate our narrator, and that, I think, is what's supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
I am reading this just like, this is just the Babadook. It really is just the Babadook.
Yeah, like, I'm picturing it as a combination of the Babadook and, like, Rick from Rick and Morty.
I'm at that Rick. Yeah. I'm at that Babadook. I'm at that combination Rick the Science and Babadook.
Right.
Dear reader, you may have felt fear before, but you don't know the fear the way I knew it in that instant. To have this man staring at you and knowing you can't escape, frozen in fear. I sat like that, literally feeling like that for hours. But it might as well have been days. The man never moved, never said anything, just sat there, half buried in my bed, head cocked and bloodshot, angry eyes staring at me. There I sat. In the corner. That's me in the corner.
That's me
in the spotlight. Coming to terms with my homosexuality.
Yeah, that one's better.
There I sat, in the corner, my head down, completely paralyzed, cold sweat dripping from my forehead. What was I going to say? This man staring at you. Oh, but you don't know fear the way I knew fear in that instant. He's like, no, dude. I was so scared. Like, you have never been as scared as I've been scared.
Right.
Like,
bro, I had my leg chopped off.
Like, he's trying to bro you when he doesn't know you in the story.
And it's just kind of amusing, rather than...
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, plus, if you don't like him, then it's like... There's a lot less sympathy for him.
Yeah.
The sun came up. Something was weird about him, though. Like, the light was different for him than it was for everything else in the room. As if the sunlight was not reflecting off him properly. Feeling overwhelming fear for so long, other thoughts finally started to creep through into my mind.
I kind of like that paragraph, the idea that, like, he fucks with light somehow.
Right.
The light is just takes on a different quality around him.
Right.
He is feeding off my fear, yet he hasn't really done anything. He has looked at me creepily, he has chased me down, but he hasn't actually done anything physically to me. When is he going to make his move? When is he going to suggest we take this relationship to the next level? Somehow I feel the courage to stand up and rush out of the room. As I do, I feel him behind me. Every step I take, every breath I make. He takes one too. In perfect lockstep, always close enough that he could wrap his arms around me if he wanted.
So
Skittles!
A lot of the companies were throwing out Skittles.
It's like, like the rainbow.
No, it's the rainbow, and you guys like rainbows, right?
Skittles weren't there. The people.
Yeah.
Missed
like
opportunity.
The company itself wasn't there.
Missed opportunity. They were probably making too much money off this Pride Parade to begin with.
They probably were.
Anyway,
I figure if I can just get my mind off him, maybe if I can just ease this feeling that he's behind me. My phone is nearly dead, but not quite. Grabbing earbuds, I thrust them in my ears and turn the sound up as high as it can go. And I play a song. Anything just to take my mind off the man behind me. Nothing But a Good Time by Poison starts blaring in my eardrums. By the time the lyrics start, it's starting to take the edge off of my fear.
Now listen. Not a dime. I can't pay my rent. I can barely make enough. I can barely make it through the week. I'm guessing that those, yeah.
Yeah, this is lyrics. By the time the chorus starts, I'm thinking this might work. I might actually just be able to take my mind off my fear. I start to become delusional that I might be able to break the man's hold on me with the power of rock and roll.
I don't need nothing but a good time. How can I resist? Ain't looking for nothing but a good time, and it don't get better than this. So, how do we feel about the power of rock and roll defeating this Babadook
I feel like
Rick?
It's gonna just result in gay sex for him.
I hope so. That's
what we're here for.
We're here for that gay sex.
That Babadook gay sex. And right as the line ends, my arm twists violently behind me, and I feel his clammy, dead hands on my wrist and cold breath on my neck. You think you can shut me out? Comes a cold, reptilian voice.
See, this story is just all over the place. It feels like this story is really lacking focus.
Yeah.
Like now we're getting reptilian voices.
Yeah, kind of.
Now I'm imagining Rick, Babadook, and Reptile from Mortal Kombat.
I scream as I feel the skin on my back splitting open. I whirl around and seeing a bloody butcher knife on the table. To this day, dear reader, I try to argue that the slash on my back could not possibly be self-inflicted due to its angle. But physicians noted that my arm was twisted as well, allowing for the possibility that I slashed my own back myself. They don't believe me, dear reader, that the arm twist and slash on my back were both inflicted by the man.
Yeah, just really feeling like there's no focus here. Like they don't know what they're trying to go for.
Right.
Because the narrator was insane the whole time is just like the cop-out I think they're trying to use.
Yeah.
Still feeling that man directly behind me, I grab the booty knife, the bloody knife, and whirl around, expecting the knife to cut the man's face. Instead, I find air, of course. Still holding the knife, I dash out of my apartment. Not bothering to lock the door, I fly down the stairs and out of the building. The man is right on my tail. I run out into the streets, but he is right behind me. Every time I turn, he rotates with me, like some horrifying cartoon character that you can't shake. I turn around fast, but he is faster and still behind me. I turn again, but he is still behind me. I turn one more time and stab downward. One of these times, I will catch him. My knife sinks 6 or 7 inches into an elderly lady's eyeball.
Just random elderly lady just right there.
Yeah, it seems like the direction that the story is taking is he's an insane person, and that's the excuse that they're going to be using.
Alright. So that is the story. I committed manslaughter. To this day, that is the part I regret the most. I regret that my fear of this man, whether or not he is a hallucination, caused the unintended death of another person. I'm sorry beyond what any words can express.
Do not look now. Do not move.
And I would like to once again convey my condolences to Miss Carpenter's husband and her son and her son's family. She did not deserve this, and if I could go back in time...
There is a man behind you right now. Oh, fuck. Well, we're not going to stick this landing.
No, oh no.
So, if you can't tell, this is paragraph, ellipses, all caps. Ellipses, paragraph, ellipses, all caps.
Right.
Ellipses. So it's like this is being interjected into the story.
Yeah.
Which brings into question, so this is being conveyed by Robert, who is taking this out there.
Yep.
Is Robert being manipulated, or is John, our narrator, being manipulated into saying this?
Did Robert change it?
Did Robert change it? I don't like any of those explanations. What did you get, Chelsea?
Oh, that's Pedialyte.
Pedialyte, there you go.
They're just handing out Pedialytes.
For your gay babies.
For your gabies.
There is a man behind you right now.
I would turn the knife on myself instead of her. If it had only been my death instead of hers, it would have been better for all parties.
Now, dear readers, here I make an apology. Did you look? Or even if you didn't, did you want to? Any slight doubt, any pang of anxiety? If so, then, like the young guy at the beginning of this story, you have probably disappeared from my cell.
I have probably
disappeared from my cell. I am sorry for what you will go through, but please believe me when I say I just desperately need relief from that man behind me, even if that means passing him on to another stranger such as yourself. Remember that it starts with just a kiss. It was only a kiss.
How did it end up like this?
It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. Now she's falling asleep and pleasuring herself with a Hitachi wand and the Babadook, and the child interrupts. Can't come. Mom can't come. Parents aren't allowed to orgasm.
I feel like that took a turn there that I was not expecting.
Kept going down a hole.
Yeah.
It makes sense if we've actually seen the Babadook. Which is a good film, but I wouldn't say a great one.
I really enjoyed it.
It was good.
I really liked it.
Yeah. Kind of a weird ending. Kind of like a long denouement.
I mean, I felt like the ending was very much oh hey, this is what it's like to grow up with a grieving, depressed parent.
Yeah. Remember that it starts with a brush here, and a whisper there, a slight movement, a footstep, a passing breath, a rustle you can't explain, a sudden erection, a sudden prick on your back. My only advice, do not ignore him, it only makes it worse. Good luck. Credit to Smiley Jack. Rating is 8.8 out of 10 from 830 votes. That is way too high.
That's way too high for this.
This
wasn't... It was okay. It was decent.
It's a little too late to say this, but if you click that link, make sure you got your ad blocks on, because this is hosted on the Creepypasta Wikia. On Creepypasta.com, rather.
And your computer will get computer STDs.
And don't support this website in that way. Yeah, the story just lacks all focus. Circumcision is wrong, this lady's 100% right. Don't circumcise your babies, people. Please don't. It's not good.
It's not cool, unless if it's, like, medically necessary, don't do it.
Which is exceedingly rare anyway. Anyway, back to the moment at hand. Spade or neuter your pets. Do not spade or neuter your children. This story just was all over the place. The ending kind of gives it an answer of, like, look, if I tell you about it, then the guy's going to be behind you, but he already tried that in the train and it didn't work for some reason?
Right.
I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on this?
It's kind of like a weird, ugly child of House of Leaves, and It Follows, and it does not stick either one of those.
There's a bee. Bzzz. Gay bee.
Gaby.
More gabies.
But yeah, no, that's my thoughts on this.
Man, this was just...
That's way too high of a rating for how this was.
The Cthulhu Fatang falling into insanity ending is just so
And it wasn't
corny.
even well done either.
No. It always... Whenever you're doing that, it always falls into just, like... I don't know how to feel about that. Let's read a few comments. Dark Define says, not really creepy or scary, just a bit unsettling. I would very much so disagree. I was not engrossed in it. Unsettling is oftentimes even harder than creepy or scary. Like, if you're going to unsettle someone, that's a task and a half, I think. Excuse me.
Because you gotta really pull back for unsettling.
Yeah. In all honesty, you go on way too long and too much, and so much glorious, useless detail on one thing, and leave out too much detail on another. Very much so, the case.
That's right on the head.
Because he'll give you, like, weird details about, like, this song, and, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, here are all the lyrics, but you will never know where it works.
That's what Chelsea's armpit looks like now, you know.
Yeah, now you know.
But if they don't tell you where he works, they don't really characterize his friends. They characterize him pretty well.
Yeah, but, like, the only thing you get about Julie is, like, oh, hey, like, pay attention to me.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you get about his friend that is, like...
Concerned
is, like, oh, hey, he might have drugged me.
Yeah, I am really not too happy with this. What did you get here? Cakeys?
Oh, it's just, like, 15% off at a place with cakes that I can't even use.
Yeah, because gluten.
Yeah.
Okay. At first, I wasn't frightened, writes this. Funny how the atmosphere of my surroundings adjusted itself to the story the best it can. Despite being in a tropical country on its late rain season, it actually should have ended a while ago, more so over with a bright sky, when I read this part about the heavy rain. So this has nothing to do with fucking...
Yeah, that's just
I figured,
rambles of someone who's...
I'm sorry, dear listener. I thought that big comment meant insightful comment, or ridiculously wrong comment, but...
No. So, from Kang Bao, didn't even realize that chills could be so subtle until reading this. 10 out of 10. Alright. You need to read some books. Educate yourself.
Read a book, read a motherfucking book.
Like, I mean, I have no mouth and I must scream is better than this.
I love how you said motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like motherfucking. You didn't say motherfucking.
Yeah.
Shapeshifter. Well written, but I found it somewhat droll and pointless. It was decently written. It had mistakes as well. And then the end isn't an end, but a hokey warning. Very much so. If you want to scare kids working at Disneyland, or become a priest. What?
If you want to scare children, work at Disneyland, or maybe become a priest.
Okay. If you want to entertain readers at the end of your story in an interesting fashion. 7 out of 10. Keep reading and writing.
Okay, that one sentence didn't make much sense to me.
No. Alright, well, we're just about running out of footage. Where can people find you, Chelsea, and what do you do?
I do multiple things. I draw mostly. I have open commissions. If any of you want to commission me to draw artwork for you, contact me either on Twitter or Instagram or at my Gmail account. You can find me as CF Comer on pretty much anything I'm on.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like. If you are not subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't hit the bell notification, hit the bell notification. If you haven't made the blood sacrifice, go out, find a goat, kill the goat, take the goat's dead body, put it on a homeless person, make the homeless person ride the dead goat, make the homeless person carry the dead goat 7 miles, and then
make them carry that weight.
And then if everything goes according to plan, oh, there's a small glimpse of the Red Bull thought, and then if everything goes according to plan, it should tell you if we upload a video.
Only if you follow that in this exact order, though.